this volume of Quick Movie Reviews, I'm going to talk about the recent live-action adaptation of The Jungle Book from Disney. And I think the movie's good, just not as good as everyone else made it out to be, because on a technical level, the cinematography is good, sound effects are great, and as far as the actual special effects go, even though I know that the kid is standing in front of a green screen and the animals aren't actually there, watching the movie, I totally believe that he's really in this environment along with talking to these animals. Like, I really believe that they're there. I think out of the actors in this movie who stood out the most to me, the first one being Bill Murray playing Baloo. On one hand, yeah, it's Bill Murray, but he totally fits the part well. Christopher Walken playing King Louie is entertaining as all hell. Ben Kingsley playing Bagheera and Idris Elba playing Shere Khan are great. And I think everyone else does a good job here and there. I feel like the problems I have with the movie are the kid. Now, I don't think he's bad. It's just, I feel like he's indestructible because you see him get injured quite a bit, but then he's fine a couple minutes later. There's just some events in this movie that just kind of bugs me because at one point you have the Mowgli just running through the woods and maybe like a few minutes goes by, he turns around, the whole forest is on fire. It's like, how the fuck did that happen? It was just inconsistency at some points in time. And you could have taken Kaa out of the movie. There was really no point in having Kaa in it at all. Wouldn't have changed a thing. And for my final rating of The Jungle Book, I give it a 3.5 out of 5. As for this next movie, Crawl, it's basically one of the quintessential science fiction fantasy films from the early 80s, and most people consider it to be a Star Wars knockoff. Really? Beyond, having discount stormtroopers kidnapping a princess along with Liam Neeson battling said stormtrooper knockoffs, that's really about it. Beyond that, it's actually quite different from Star Wars because this one really plays up the more fantasy aspect.
I also like how the story is told.
When you look at the advertising, you basically see the main hero with this weapon called the glaive, and you think, oh, they're going to spend the whole movie trying to find his weapon. Really? At the start of the movie, he gets the weapon early on. Granted, he doesn't really use it that much. Hell, I think he only uses it once during a climax. But even then, that's not the main focus of the movie. The main focus of the movie is, okay, how can we find the main villain's fortress? Because I actually like what they do with the main villain's fortress because every 24 hours it moves to a different location, which makes the challenge for the main heroes all that more difficult. So that I actually did really like about the movie. And the practical effects are good. The humor is great. The movie has decent pacing. And yeah, the movie does have a lot of cheese, but it's something I could tolerate. As far as the main villain goes, even though they don't show all of him, I have no problem picturing what the creature looks like in my head.
And
you can definitely feel his presence throughout the movie. Now, as far as a movie like this goes, I think there's better fantasy films from that time period, but this one's not bad. So, for my final rating of Crawl, I give it a 3 out of 5. As for my next movie, The Lost World, this movie is just bad. Like, most of the actors are terrible, with the exception of the guy playing Challenger. The pacing of the movie is horribly slow. The special effects are terrible. Not just the CGI, but the practical effects are bad as well. And just some of the choices that the characters make are really stupid. This was not a very good adaptation of The Lost World. Hell, The Lost World Jurassic Park was a better adaptation of The Lost World than this movie was. And this movie came out the same year. So, really, out of the film adaptations of The Lost World, don't go see this one. Because I give this one a 1 out of 5. For the final movie I'm going to talk about in this particular volume of Quick Movie Reviews is Batman Assault on Arkham. If I had to describe this movie in a nutshell, it's like Ocean's 11. Just imagine if George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Matt Damon tried to kill each other every step of the heist. And the movie itself, the animation's good, the action's great, the humor's good, and the characters have good interaction between themselves. I also like the fact that here's a movie primarily focused on the villains. And I'm glad that Batman's not the central focus, since he's been a central focus for many other animated features, but I'm happy that here's a movie just about the villains. And the movie itself is really fast-paced. Like, it has a beginning, then it goes to climax afterwards. However, if there's two problems I had with the movie, the creators say that this movie takes place within the Batman Arkham video game series. Really, I think the movie works well as a standalone movie. Like, you don't really need to know the information that happens in the other video games to know what's going on here, because, I mean, just look at Harley Quinn. She looks nothing like her video game counterpart. And the second problem I have with the movie is the overall depiction of King Shark. He's not this part man, part shark thing that like he is in the comics. To me, he just kind of looks like Jaws from the James Bond movies if he was on steroid. But beyond that, the movie is great. And for my final rating of Batman Assault on Arkham, I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
And see you later.